Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. Today we're looking at Psalm 36, verses 3 and 4. Now we began yesterday with the discussion about the wicked man, and I referred you to go back to Psalm 10. Look at those 14 descriptors there in Psalm 10 of the wicked. That's not all that David's got to say about the wicked, but we need to begin there because that lays the foundation for the problem that he sees. Now here in Psalm 36, we began with verse 1, and he's drawing a conclusion for us about the wicked. He says there's no fear of God before his eyes. Now if you want to know about the fear of God, where would you go? Well, one place you would go in the Scripture is the book of Proverbs. Solomon tells us all about the fear of God and its benefits. And David says here there's no fear of God before their eyes. And so there is a loosing of restraint. The morality here is gone because they don't fear God. Therefore, they're prideful. Number one, we saw that yesterday. They flatter themselves in their own eyes. So, of course, they're prideful and they're narcissistic. Their iniquity is found to be hateful. And so that hateful iniquity, isn't that awful? Isn't that an awful thing to say about a person? I mean, everybody has a problem with sin. We start out that way. We have a sin nature, but then we add to that our own particular brand and version of sinning. You know, we sort of vamp on the whole idea of sin in our lifetime. But these people, their sinfulness is hateful. And that's a hard thing to say. Now we come to verses 3 and 4 today, and let me read those for us. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. He devises mischief upon his bed. He sets himself in a way that is not good. He abhors not evil. So we're continuing to talk about the wicked man. And because he has no fear of God before his eyes, his mouth and his words are filled with iniquity and deceit. And now, I mean, this is one of the most obvious things about wickedness is the way wickedness talks. Wickedness has a speech. It has a pattern. There are words that are used that you know are hateful. And not only are they sinful, but they're hateful. And so we find that in the mouth of those who don't fear God. Why? Because they don't fear him. If they feared God, they would want to respect him, and they would speak in a way that reflected that respect. But they don't. He's left off to be wise. Of course he has. There's no fear of God before his eyes. And I just said, if you want to know about the fear of God, what do? Well, you study Proverbs. That's one place. And in Proverbs, we find out that the fear of God leads to wisdom. Well, he's left off to be wise because he doesn't fear God. And he doesn't do good. Of course he doesn't do good because he doesn't fear God. You see, we talk a lot about how good people are, and yet those good people have no relationship to God and don't fear him. Therefore, my question is, are they really good? Or are they just acting in a way that's acceptable to us? You see, true goodness is defined by God himself and by our relationship to him. It's not defined by the things that we think are pleasant. Although that's how we would normally categorize goodness. But think about that. And consider for yourself those that you call good, but don't have a relationship with God. Are they really good? And do they do good if they don't have a relationship with him, if they don't fear him? He devises mischief upon his bed. Of course he does. He doesn't fear God. So what's he doing on his bed? Well, he's thinking about ways in which he can get in trouble, ways in which he can make money and allow his flattery to continue. He sets himself in a way that is not good. Well, so he doesn't do good, and he sets himself in a way that's not good, and he abhors not evil. Remember holy Job? What's said of Job there in Job chapter 1? That he was upright in his generation, and he eschewed evil. Well, this fellow is not eschewing the evil. He is embracing the evil. He doesn't abhor it at all, which means he's embracing it. He accepts it. He allows it into his life. He wants to be a part of it. He, manufactures it. So he doesn't abhor evil, he embraces evil. He's not like holy Job who has skewed it. That means to run away from it. Now tomorrow we're going to look at this contrast that he quickly creates for us between these folk who don't fear God and the Lord himself. And we'll check that out tomorrow. Hope you'll join me then. Come back. I'll see you tomorrow here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.